This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Anahita TV. I'm so excited to be with my beautiful audience. I have a special surprise for you. I brought back Jung, and she is a lovely. She's a very she's a Buddhist nun, and she was here last month, excuse me, and we have her here again for the end of the month. So it's going to be a regular situation where she'll come in, and so if you have questions for her for the next episode, we're going to do another show with her. Please email them to me or put them in the comments below. I do check the comments. Please follow and subscribe. I see that 72% of my followers or viewers are not subscribers. So there's no cost to you, but it's an amazing way for me to understand who is watching and what type of people are interested in which of my shows. So if you subscribe, it would be best for all of us. So thank you so much. Without further ado, I'm going to bring back my friend Rigdzin Chen. Hi. How are you?
Good to see you again.
You too. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So if I pronounce your name wrong, can you please repeat your name?
Rigdzin Yang Chen.
Oh, Rigdzin Yang Chen. I always had it the other way. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so we understand that you have a place called The Way. And it's on Facebook. You have a place where people can go and engage with you and ask you questions. Yes. It's your Facebook group, as also that your location where you are, your practice is called The Way. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
And why did you choose that name, The Way?
Because this is the only way we can walk on, and this is the right way, and this is the only way that we can achieve Buddhahood.
Okay. And so your teachings that are taken from the Buddhist tradition.
Yes, we engage in meditation. We are specialized in mountain spirit pray, and we are communicate with the oracle and meditation.
You communicate directly with the oracle? Is that?
We are practicing oracle and medium.
Oh, medium.
And specialized community with the deceased people.
With the deceased. Oh, wow, very interesting. I know I've visited your center. And can you tell us about the different rooms you have? Because they're very specific and very special. One of the rooms that you showed us was the deceased room. And it's always a fear.
Right. What you're seeing right now here is called the Avalokiteshvara prayer room. It's a main hall room, and then the Avalokiteshvara is compassion, Bodhisattva. And this is all about compassion. And we have another private Avalokiteshvara prayer room. Actually, that room created because of inspired by you.
Oh, really? Which one? Yeah. The Avalokiteshvara?
The prayer room.
Oh, how nice.
That's for the personal pray. Whoever wants to just pray and then just holding into Mother of Earth, they can come and pray all the time. And we have another room for the deceased people. We hold once a year very huge event. It's called Ulambara Day. It's all about deceased people, praying for the deceased people, ancestor, and try to learn whoever living in this earth, and also someone who passed away, learn Dharma, and then guide, hopefully, lead to the right way.
So when is that day? I remember I celebrated that at your temple one time, the Umbala Day. Is
It
it
was, yeah, it's a lunar calendar. It's the July 15, every lunar calendar, July 15.
15th?
Oh, August, I'm sorry, August 15.
August 15th.
So every
I
year,
remember we celebrated a few years back. It was such a
yeah,
beautiful celebration with offerings. And can you tell us about like what is the special about that day?
it's for the all about disease people.
Is all
And
this praying
yes,
for them?
yes, we pray for the ancestor. We offer food, flower, incense, water. Actually, once a year, the day is that it open for the deceased people, and they can visit their home or their temple to learn more about Dharma. And that's actually day for that. And that's why we offer so much food. It's like your birthday.
Yeah,
It's like party.
amazing. You guys are amazing
So
cooks.
they come and then they enjoy the food and they see their family members. And also, it's one of the biggest day. It's allowed, get permitted from the heaven that they can come down here. So they are enjoying everything in this world, and then wish to born in better place and better condition. That's the whole purpose of the day.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and you guys are the best cooks, Patricia, the Persian cooking, and you know how to do that, and it's so amazing. And the Korean food,
Right,
the
right.
mixture of everything. It's such a
Yeah,
beautiful.
we have all the ancestors. Doesn't matter whether it's Korean or Iranian. We
Yeah,
have all the different national ancestor, and we try to do every food.
yeah,
With,
you include every cultural food, which is so amazing. It's wonderful, and yeah, and everybody gets to take a lot of it home. And
right.
it's amazing. So, to without further ado, we're gonna get into the teachings because we're gonna talk about the eightfold path. Is it? How do you say?
No, it's
No, I said it wrong.
no. We're gonna do Four Noble Truth.
Four Noble Truth first. Okay,
Right, right. The building on the discussion from our
from
previous
last time.
area on the Buddhism, this section will focus on Four Noble Truth, because without knowing Four Noble Truth, Eightfold Path doesn't matter. It
Okay,
doesn't make sense.
so
So
it's like the basic. We gotta do the basics before.
prime, yes,
Okay, fine.
primary, and its main and essence. Four Noble Truth and Eight Pathway. It's main teaching in Buddhism. And so we're gonna go through the Four Noble Truth first.
Okay, very good. I'm excited. So let's start with number one.
Sure, sure. After Buddha achieved attainment of a full enlightenment, his first teaching was on the Four Noble Truth. Why it's noble? Because it's universal truth. What is a universal truth? Facts that we are accepted without doubt, such as in the east, the sunrise, and the falls in the west, or the earth is revolving around the sun.
Mhm.
So Four Noble Truths are those kind of truth, because it provide a universally practical solution for a universal problem. Things that we all experience on a national scale at all time and places. It is noble in that the person who understands and walks the path will eventually become a noble-hearted person who has been achieved perfect freedom of peace. The Four Noble Truths are truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering. known as the Noble Eightfold Path. That despite all other teachings, the Buddha said, for 49 years, I only teach about suffering and the eradication of suffering. Achieve perfect freedom of peace. He even refused to address anything that did not relate to freedom from suffering. We do everything to protect our children from any danger or pain. Try to provide the most comfortable life. Wish them to live peacefully. So does Buddha. Much
That's
greater
amazing.
compassion than human beings. This suffering in all sentient beings and everywhere. I know a way to get out of it. Here is the way. That's why our center name is The Way. Here
The
is
way.
the
I
way.
love it. Yeah.
This is not something the Buddha created or there's something from above revealed to him. He had to simply discover the truth, reality, like many people before him had, and many people after him would do, just like us. The Buddha stated that he lived in a deep coma without knowing this for truth, because we will be always battling between pleasure and pain.
Yeah,
Life,
I feel like that's very true about the modern living. You know, most of us are so confused because we are getting bombarded by all the advertisements that show the easy solution to the pain. You know, that's what the advertisement is. You know, I, as you know, I studied film and advertising and all of that. And most of advertising is about answering the solution to someone's pain. And it's usually about buying something, which is obviously, we know that's temporary. If you are feeling insecure and you buy, you know, a big car that you can't afford, you know, so that other people look at you, but nobody cares. Everybody's working on looking good on themselves so they can show off for you. So like nobody even, you know, so we're spending time and money and effort on things that are so frivolous. So I agree with you. We are in a coma if we live like that. And I feel like 80% of society kind of lives like that.
okay, that's right. Yeah, because we live in the coma, Buddha said, because we don't know really who we really are. Also, we also don't know, don't even want to aware about the pain or suffering. The Buddha
Mhm.
said, life is dukkha, the truth of suffering. This is the first noble truth. Buddha stated that whether we are happy or unhappy, we all experience suffering because no happiness lasts forever. And when it does, it leaves us with a disappointment, dissatisfaction, and incomplete happiness. The saddest aspect is leaving us with a never ending hunger and a lifelong hunting. That's why Buddha said the life is suffering, never satisfied. It's like drinking salt water. No matter how much you drink, our thirst stays the same. Since we are born, we experience dukkha, suffering, even moment we are born. Think about it. If newborn babies are so glad to be born into this world, why are they crying instead of laughing? Being in the warm, dark room and then being exposed to cold air, bright light, and an unfamiliar environment causes shock and suffer. Of course, in medical term, this is fantastic news because their system is working, but in baby's perspective, it's just challenging. So there are suffering of physical and mental. Suffering of birth, the suffering of old age, the suffering of sickness, the suffering of death. How's your parents, Anahita? Are they healthy?
Hi. So sorry. I was temporarily disconnected with you. Yeah, they're doing good. My parents are very well. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, and yeah, they're in Canada, as you know, doing their thing, and I should hopefully visit them for Christmas for the holiday season.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad that your parents are healthy because in our age, mostly the parents have some illness.
Oh
My
yeah, my dad has unfortunately something that right now he's dealing with. It's a lot. Yeah, but we are always praying. We are hoping. You know, my dad was such a vibrant human being. I always pray that he comes back to his normal self. We always had, you know, big gatherings, big family events. Like we lived in, as you know, many different countries, and he has a big name, my father, based on his personality. You know, in Iran, he has a big name. In where we lived in Texas, he has very well known, and just, you know, everywhere we lived, everybody just loves him, and because he was always the father figure for even some friends, some of my friends who even have fathers, they felt like they told me that my father felt more like they felt closer to my dad as a father figure than their own father.
good.
Yeah. So,
My
I mean,
parents suffered from illness for
yeah.
more than 10 years and passed it away.
Your family?
It was so painful to see
Yeah,
them
it
battle
is.
with the illness and pain that they had to go through every day. Even
Yeah.
just thinking about it, the time that they went through, it's painful. Think about your parents,
Yeah.
how healthy they were, taking you here and there, try to show you everywhere, and working so hard to taking care of a family. Now, someone need to take care of them. The
For sure.
suffering of old age, the
Yeah.
suffering of sickness.
Hmm.
When we see a picture of when they were young, it's hard to recognize. I
Right.
was surprised when I found some picture of a handsome man. Was
And that was
actually,
your father?
yeah. Your children will feel the same way as you get older. When
Mhm.
they die, we will be heartbroken by the loss of loved ones. We watch children go before their parents. One day, we must say goodbye to our spouse, family, friends, and even pets.
Hmm.
Lose of a loved one is one of the biggest pain human beings have to go through. Not only that,
Hmm.
suffering of death. The process of dying is another big issues for
Hmm.
all of us. There are so many people don't want to die when they feel their death is so close. And many of them don't know how to die peacefully either. But every day we get closer to death.
Okay.
We cannot stop the progress of time, no matter how hard we try. There is a suffering of worrying about having to deal with hard situation, like being involved in a violent crime or terrible accident, losing your job, getting divorced, or unexpected health problem
Yeah.
like cancer, Alzheimer, heart stroke. What about suffering of not getting what we want?
Yes.
House, job promotion, love, recognition, power, fame, money, respect, attention, or any other desired outcome. And there is a suffering from running into undesirable circumstance and being cut off from things that one desire. These sufferings can be easily recognized and happen all around us. I hear so many people saying something like this. Oh, I have no wishes. I'm not greedy person. All I want is to be exactly as I am now.
Mm.
My entire family is healthy, has a decent jobs, and there are no problems. But the next month, the person discovered that they needed a kidney transplant,
Oh my goodness.
and their life was shattered.
Mm.
In another case, a couple fell in love and agreed to marry. They said, "Oh, we understand each other so well, have the same lifestyle and goals," but 2 months later, they filed for divorce.
Oh wow.
It was one of the most ugly divorces. So there is suffering of impermanence, changing. We hold tight onto happy moments that we don't want to go away from. Or even if it's not perfect, we prefer to stay the same if there are not any major issues. But we are dualistic beings.
Yeah.
There is good, there must be also be bad.
Yeah.
Happy exists, so does unhappy. Like and dislike, love and hatred, success and failure, nirvana and hell. Pretty ugly. Buddha taught that even happy times can bring suffering since they eventually disappear or become attached to. Of course, we want to stay forever young and beautiful, maintain good health, and have enough money to survive.
Mhm.
But nothing lasts forever. Whatever enjoyment and pleasure you find in life, it'll be gone one day. And when it's gone, we will feel the misery of being separated from it. Thus, all enjoyment and pleasure in this world are also suffering. And we don't have a control as things change. The things that happen to us and the way those things impact us are beyond our control. We are insecurity and discomfort of what's coming, worried about what the future may be bring for us. We are limited to doing our best and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Even that thought, the wheels of suffering start turning because we attach to it. On top of that, we share our own dissatisfaction to others. Each unhappy person gets charged with agitation, making everyone who enters the space feel stressed and unhappy. Personal tension becomes social tension. This is the main issue with the
Yeah.
life. Its unsatisfactory nature. Things happen that we don't want, and things we want do not happen. And we don't know how or why this process works, just as we are all clueless of our own beginnings and ends. Clearly, we see and are experiencing suffering. Even at this moment, suffering exists. Suffering is a common experience for all people, regardless of wealth or social status. I have a funny story. Someone saw a very famous, beautiful actress,
Mhm.
with limousine and stuff like that. And she bought whole junk food at a gas station. And the manager became angry and took it back. To keep the beauty and fame, cannot even enjoy some junk food.
Wow.
Suffering. Accepting the truth about suffering is not a negative viewpoint, but rather clearly understand what reality we are facing every day
Mhm.
and how we can live more peacefully. The Buddha stated that recognizing and accepting suffering properly is the first step to liberate from suffering.
Recognizing and accepting is the first
Yes.
step. Okay.
Mhm. Recognizing and accepting suffering
And I
properly.
think one of the things that a lot of people have issues is like the word suffering, because suffering is like, when someone is torturing you, but when Buddhism says life is suffering is like life is torture, then I think the translation that's it should be a little bit more softer, like life is has issues.
Unsatisfaction.
Huh?
Unsatisfied. We're never
Unsatisfactory or
satisfied.
uncertain, or yeah, there's a lot of problems with life or issues that come up. But when we say suffering, and I think I'm saying it because from my point of view, before I became interested in Buddhism, and when somebody said life is suffering, I'm like, no, life is joy, because I'm very positive. So for me, it was very difficult to accept life is suffering, because I know I have a lot of joy also in my life. I thought, okay, so we're just going to focus on the suffering. What about the joy? But as I learned from you guys a lot more, I realized it means life has a lot of ups and downs, and there are lots of
Joy, there is a time that joy passes. So
yes.
when joy passes, you feel empty. That's why Buddha said it's a suffering.
Okay.
Some people
Because we miss the joy.
the
We
suffering.
miss, okay. We are missing the joy. And then when we are empty, what are we supposed to do? We have to accept that dilemmas in life happen. And so how do we deal with that? Like if you're in a Buddhist, how do you deal with this suffering?
So that's the second noble truth and third noble truth.
Okay.
And we're gonna go through it.
Okay.
So knowing that accepting suffering is the first step to liberate from the suffering. If you don't like the word suffering, unsatisfied. There is joy, but there
Yes.
is also pain. There is a happiness, there is unhappiness. There is a problem, and there is a fixing problem. Because we need to know what's our problem. To
Yes.
fix our problem, we must first recognize the reality of the circumstance.
Mhm.
Recognizing problem in the right way lead to proper solution. In the same way, a patient receives the right care to recover if a doctor properly recognizes the symptoms and provide right treatment. That's why Buddha said aware or recognize, accepting that we never satisfy. That's important because there is a happiness, unhappiness. We have to accept it and aware about it. Not too much try to think positive. We say think positive, I'm positive because there is so many problems. That's
Yeah,
why we need to be positive. Otherwise, we are so overwhelmed about all the problems.
they're true.
So there is cause of suffering. The second noble truth. The Buddha stated that the root of our suffering is ignorance. It's like I'm positive, I have joy all the time. Ignorance. We ignore about our desire. We ignore about our thoughts. We ignore about our whole situation, the world. We don't really know what makes us happy.
Hmm.
We have a lack of knowledge about our happiness and feel that we are unhappy because we lack something or have not achieved something. I don't have enough money, help, family, power, health, love, recognition. But let me ask you, if these issues actually cause us to suffer, why have so many wealthy, famous, and powerful people turn to drugs or alcohol,
Right.
even ending their lives?
True.
Think about it.
Yeah,
If
that's a lot of happiness for
if
someone.
we
All
get
millions of dollars and still they're not happy after achieving.
if we get what we desire, it never fulfill to our expectation.
Hmm.
If what we achieve is as excellent as we hope, or even better, it never be enough. We are attached to the habit of seeking more, better, higher, or stronger. You get a job promotion, but right next day, seeking for higher position, making more money,
Yeah.
better relationship, stronger pleasure,
Yeah,
stronger drug
like
to
I had a very similar situation. I can relate to that. Like, I remember there was a really good school, and I worked really hard to become a teacher there. And I was a substitute teacher, and right away they really liked me. Instead of a substitute teacher, I became a permanent, replaced someone who was pregnant, and it was perfect because I have a I have my PhD in writing, and I also have psychology degree. So it was working with special needs children, teaching English, and so I love that job. And it was one of the best schools here. Is a number one in the world. I'm sorry, in America, is number one for the. There's a competition like for a genius competition. It's the number one 10 years in a row. So I was very excited, and I got hired for that position long term. And the day I was signing the contract was the day that I got my diagnosis. I don't usually like to talk about the what that was, but you guys remember, you were there for me. But that was the same day that in the morning I dropped off the paperwork, the files and everything, and that same day I was diagnosed with a very horrible illness. So I totally understand that the job that I was waiting for about a year, it didn't matter at that moment. I had to quit so that I could, survive.
That's the suffering of impermanence, changing.
Impermanence and change. Yeah. So I totally relate. I've had
You are totally fine, and next day everything turned to down.
exactly.
We're always looking for more and higher, stronger drug or alcohol for more good feeling, better places, more delicious food, and more praising word and recognition. Object to any unpleasant experience make us desire more stronger craving. Stronger craving creates stronger suffering.
Hmm.
Can never be happy. Where does craving come from? All of those attachments originated from the I, ego. The
Mm.
image we have of ourselves, each of us, believe that the I is the most important person in the world. We don't limit our attachment to the I. We
Yeah.
expand it to mine. We all have strong attachment to our possession since it strengthens our sense of I. My word, my belief, my money, my opinion, my family, my time, my belongs, my emotion, my pain.
Wow.
We are all convinced that our own views and traditions are the best, and we become agitated when they are criticized. We express our opinion and others reject them. We get upset. We don't want to fail. We don't want to be judged by others. And we don't want to feel bad when we make a mistake. That's why there is blaming. The fine art of making others responsible for all the difficult things that happen to us.
That's not fair.
And the easiest way to escape from guilt, shame, and responsibility.
Yeah.
Protect our ego and control. But it's dangerous because we lose our power in our lives and suffer 24 hours, 7 days. So I heard enough of suffering. Is there a way to experiencing less suffering, like you asked me question earlier?
Yeah.
Yes. Understanding how pleasure deceived and betrayed us. The more we desire pleasure, the more disappointment we become. And so we sink further in the ocean of suffering. However, the Buddha teaches us that joy exists in every place and at every moment if we understand impermanence and letting go. When pleasure happens or no issues in life, enjoy it without clinging because we know it will pass. So we can have real joy with a pure heart, with gratitude. They maybe bring us less attachment or longing after the moment. People around you or the situation you have now may change swiftly tomorrow, like you experience. Even if you despise someone, their circumstance may change, making you feel bad about being disguised. When anything terrible happens, remember that it is also temporal, which will make us smile more when it passes. Of course, some situations never go back to their previous condition, but human being, we have a brain and are always learning and discovering new ways to adapt. If we can try to practice this way, every moment will be more meaningful and thankful. I have experienced that many things are no longer out there as a result of a climate change. And I'm realizing that the food tastes are also changing. It was
What
sad.
is changing?
The food taste.
Oh, the food has
How
changed.
we
Yes,
eat
I taste. I thought it was just me.
different. Yeah.
Why do you think is that? Is the I feel like I don't know. My idea was maybe because we don't need as much of the food anymore, or our nature is changing. I don't know.
No, nothing like that. Air, climate change, weather polluted, earth, the land polluted, everything polluted. Even oxygen is polluted.
That's
And
true.
that's why the food tastes are not same as before. The carrot doesn't taste the carrot anymore.
You're
Cucumber
so true. You're so right. Yeah.
doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It was sad at first, but it also makes me feel grateful for how fortunate I was and for the things that I have now because I may not have them tomorrow.
Hmm.
Look at the 99-cent store.
They're
Never
all gone.
imagine it'll be gone forever.
Yeah.
My favorite store.
Me too. There's a lot of fun stuff there.
Our current condition could be better, but they could also be worse.
Mm.
Instead of living in the present moment, we have developed the habit of focusing on what we do not have. Tall people wish to be shorter, whereas the short ones wish to be taller. People with the
True.
curly hair prefer straight hair, while those with the straight hair prefer curly.
That's so true.
However, if we can be content with what we have, we may be able to discover our hidden potential much easier and live with strong confidence since we are focusing on the reality, the present moment, rather than searching for future dreams. Furthermore, no matter how many days we have, we are walking closer to our death every day.
Mm.
We are breathing both to live and to die. It's not pessimism. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We've witnessed death almost every day. And we all know it'll happen to us. So why not apply to our lives? That will allow us to live more fully and meaningfully. Instead of being angry, smile. Instead of complaining, be grateful. And have more compassion for ourselves and others. Maybe it will bring us less attachment and letting go. Letting go is not about destroying or rejecting something. It's just letting it be and allowing the desire to pass. We only need mindfully to realize that, oh, there is a desire, there is a greed, anger, or illusion, and let it go without grasping or attachment. Our world never leave us to live the way we want it anyway.
Yeah.
So if we practice letting go properly, the cause of suffering will gradually leave us and we will experience less suffering. So we can end the suffering. That's the third noble truth. This truth is based on
And the suffering is the third noble truth, correct?
we can end the suffering.
We can end suffering. Okay.
This truth is based on the Buddha's direct experience upon his awakening under the Bodhi tree. And he proves as a living example that this is possible in a human lifetime. So do we. It seems like Buddha's story is an unachievable hero myth, but it is only our ignorance too. We can be another legend of future Buddha. That's what Buddha said. I showed you it's possible. We have all potential to attain perfect free of desire and suffering in this lifetime. And we can work together, which is why there are Sangha community where people who share the same belief, support, and encourage one another to experience what it's like to be living in peace, no matter what situation bring in our lives. Who knows? Maybe in the future, some people like me talk about how Anahita Buddha attained Buddhahood and she taught us so and so.
Yeah.
So there is the way to liberate from the cycle of suffering, the Noble Eightfold Path. That's the fourth noble truth. Look at things rightly, think about things rightly, speak the right word, perform right conduct, lead right human life, strive to live rightly, constantly aim the mind in the right direction, constantly keep the right mind and never be agitated by anything. Because of the time, I couldn't explain enough about third and fourth truth, and I hope we have another chance to discuss it further because
For sure.
I have a funny story to share.
Okay.
I and the other nun went to the dentist to get some teeth out.
Yeah.
When the dentist heard, ouch, out of pain,
Yeah.
he stopped the treatment and asked, I thought you guys are holy. Why do you feel pain? It was
You're not
just,
human. He thinks.
it was just such a simple, innocent concept. And I can tell how pure his heart is.
Yeah.
However, we are not considered holy or better to others.
Yeah.
I have constipation every morning. I get up, disappoint, and wish for something.
Yeah.
I just recognize and aware when it happens so I can apply
Right.
teaching to not extend those thoughts or emotions.
Yeah.
I may try harder. That's why I choose monastic life. But you crave achievement in the everyday world, whereas I seek enlightenment. But I believe that together we can devote our effort to creating a strong practice environment. Take hands, helping one another to engage in deep spiritual practice, to taste what Buddha achieved. Because the Buddha is everywhere. If we can help each other recognize our true nature, we shall find awakened wisdom inside ourselves and merge into the massive peace and joy of Buddhahood. The important thing is to experience it. The only way to experience truth directly is to look within, to observe oneself.
I think you're right. All the answers are internal. We
Yes,
just need to take time through meditation and silence to observe ourselves. And that's the thing that most people are afraid to do. I feel like there's a fear of, looking within because we may see what we don't like because of your suggestion a few years back in 2019, I went to the Dharma Center for a 10-day silent retreat. And nobody told me anything about what it was about. I just knew 10-day silent retreat, you eat vegetarian, that's all I knew. And you're not supposed to harm animals, you're not supposed to kill anything. But it was just so interesting because after the first and second day was fine. Like some of the rules were you can't look at anybody else in the eye that was there. You had to keep to yourself, stay in your room. It felt, honestly, it felt like a prison at first, but it's in a beautiful place in California. We had lakes we could walk around, but it's just the understand being in society all the time. Like for me, it was very difficult to understand or handle. And so then I got it. You don't exchange glances at each other because you're supposed to look within. So then I realized, oh, because I need to be seeing me only. And because when we connect through the eyes, we pick up on the other person's personality, whatever. So we don't want to intermingle with another person during that time. And then they take our keys because a lot of people try to run away. And honestly, I drove there with 2 other people. And the whole time I was looking for them. So I would run away. By the 3rd or 4th day, I really wanted to run away.
that meeting is actually it's working. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that it's a distraction or obstacle, but actually the meditation is working. That's the
Yeah.
misunderstanding of many people.
Because it destroys all your constructs. It destroys everything about society. It destroys everything. You realize how everything is so man-made and stupid, like everything, nothing makes sense. And it's just all man-made. Okay, here's my book because I have to write in it. Like we all made this stuff up as we went along. So it's not that it's wrong or right. It's just that the realization of it's a man-made matrix world. And I think, and that's what's scary. You're like, I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to know anymore.
That's the ignorance that we're facing every day. But according to the Buddha, if you can feel or become aware of very tiny little bit of existence of suffering, you have made huge, significant progress toward enlightenment. So if you did today, congratulations.
Yeah.
This is all I have today, and thank you very much for having me today. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to take it. If it's not, we will close with my prayer.
Okay, let's close with the prayer because yeah, it's that time right now. We're at 50-minute mark.
Okay. I am from a nation of compassion. My race is a simply human being. My purpose of life is to keep this home, so-called Mother Earth, clean, with the mind of ignorance and heart of generosity. I those have ability to see origin of beauty, ear to hear sound of universe, gut they can sacrifice life itself to save only home, earth. The human being can live on it to practice awaken, live in Dharma way, and be enlightened. Thank you again very much.
Thank you so much for all of your blessings. You and Patricia have been amazing in my life. And I hope everybody who's watching reaches out. Please join the Way on Facebook. And if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. So I'm going to have Jung, Rigdzin, Yang Chen. I have a small name for her, Jung. We will be doing this once a month. So your questions are welcome. Please leave the questions in the comments below, and I will make sure that they get addressed at our next session. So we'll continue this session in the future. And so thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Anahita TV. We are so blessed to have a beautiful friend, Rigdzin Yang Chen, sharing her wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you.